Welcome to the final day of the most exciting day of your weekend. It's the Flashback weekend as we wind down the last few hours of excitement and energy and fun. We have a special treat for you today, the Halloween reunion. Festival. And we have what I I know is going to be exciting. We'll have questions from the audience as soon as we finish a couple of interviews here. Our first guest, I'm going to say this. On the entire history of motion pictures, I think that this woman's knifing death scene is perhaps the single most jarring, artistically frightening murder of a female in cinema, with the exception, of course, of Janet Leigh in the shower scene. But of course, there's a connection because Janet Leigh, of course, is mildly related to somebody who's a star of Halloween. But I think that, and by the way, her story started in showbiz as the playmate of the month in 1974, and that pushed her forward into the world of showbiz. So please give a warm and wonderful flashback welcome to Sandy Johnson. Where's Dan? Where's her husband Dan? Where did he go? Oh, stand up, Dan. Okay. Oh, good. I was worried. He said, why? He said, because when I was over at Sandy's booth, I saw you hanging around her, and I just thought you were some guy trying to hit on her. And Dan replies, I am. Next up is, now, when you talk about classic introduction of characters in motion picture history, you think of things like Clark Gable's big entrance at the bottom of the staircase, Gone with the Wind. Or you think of, let's see, well, Gilda with Rita Hayworth doing that little sexy bouncy thing in Gilda, that didn't happen. Well, his introduction was about 30 seconds and is the single most chilling and fascinating, and I say greatest introduction of a character, because when you watch the beginning of Halloween and you see this guy at 6 years old, it was unfreaking believable in 1978, and it continues to still freak us out. So please give a warm welcome to Will Sandin. And finally, this guy on the end, he's a hyphenate. And there are not enough hyphens in the English language to really describe what he does. He's an actor, he's a director, and he's a screenwriter. He is, of course, the fellow who has been only one of the third actor to portray Michael Myers for a second time, but he is the original Mike Myers, and we're going to talk to him. His name, and by the way, he also directed a couple of one of my favorite films, The Boy Who Could Fly and The Last Starfighter. Thank you. Nick Castle. Well, let's just start off with Nick. There was a story, and I haven't been able to confirm it, but when Boris Karloff was, I read this, but I can't quite confirm it. I just want to make sure that that's understood. But there was, one story went around that Boris Karloff was offered the part of the Invisible Man back at Universal Studios, and turned it down because he would be invisible. He was like, what? I want people to see me. Well, you're in the same boat when you did Halloween. So, number one, tell me how you approach, as an actor, having an actor's ego. you approached the character that you were never going to be seen except looking like a mutilated William Shatner. That, and then also address the, what did you bring to the part to make it yours?
Oh dear. Let's see. First of all, I would, to be in the same breath with the person that did play the Invisible Man, Claude Rains, would be amazing. I'm not quite on that caliber, but actor. But what I brought to it was whatever came natural to me, because really, I'm sure many of you have heard the story before. I was only in the movie because John Carpenter happens to be an old school chum of mine. We both went to the University of Southern California Film School together, and when he started to mount the movie, I said I would like to hang out on the set, and he said, great, okay, well, you know what? We still haven't cast the person that puts the mask on here the right size. I like the way you walk. How about that? And I went, okay. That's as much as it was planned. Now, that's not to say that the kind of work that is done in this field doesn't take a lot of talent. Jim Courtney, who I'm sure many of you met this weekend, for instance, was a lot of effort and thinking to it. But frankly, I can't take a lot of credit in that respect. I mean, whatever I did, it just came naturally. And frankly, if you take the mask off of me and I'm stutter, I can't get it, my face starts to contort as the camera gets in front of me. So that's never going to happen again. I did have the fun of doing this again in 2018 in the new movie. I had a cameo in both of those, just single shot kind of things, just kind of fun for the fans to, oh, where's Castle in this movie? But with Jim doing all the important work. But really, to answer your question, this was a synchronicity chance. The reason I got it, how it turned out, of course, is just remarkable, both in the sense of the character, which is is a very iconic character now. So for someone to be thrown into this without any knowledge of acting or interest in acting, for that matter, is pretty. It's a testament to the craziness of Hollywood more than anything else, I think.
So you're the shape that scared the poop out of everybody. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, to the other actor who scared the poop out of everybody at 6 years old, Will, recount for us what happened that day. What do you remember?
You mean during when we were shooting? Well, when we were shooting, I was there at the set all day, and we obviously had to wait till nighttime to film it. I remember we were doing it in springtime, so we basically had to wait till after 8 o'clock. I think it was close to 9 when we started shooting, and I'm going to say it took about 10 takes to get the shot. And the most things I remember filming that was basically taking the mask off, because back then the kids' costumes were a plastic mask with a rubber band around to hold it up, and you'd have the rubber band, underneath your ears. So when the man playing my father, when he would take it off during the scene, it was you could feel it every time. I had as a kid I had long hair, and when you take that mask off, even when you're wearing the costume just in general, taking the mask off will pull your hair. So every time we were filming it, every time we did that shot, it was a little painful. So I kind of flinched a couple times during that time, and 10 plus scenes, kept doing it. It was awesome. It was still a lot of fun.
Audiences get really weird about stuff because everything, like when The Exorcist came out, the entire American PTA and all those people, they were like, oh, Linda Blair is going to be warped for the rest of her life, which might have turned out to be true, but not because of the movie. Did anybody worry that this was going to warp you as a kid to be in a horror movie? Did you have any kind of feedback like that?
My parents didn't. They didn't think anything of it when I got the parts and I was filming. mom was just happy that I got a role. Apart from, you know, when she's taking me out on auditions, it's like, okay, cool, you got the job. And then when they saw the movie, they both enjoyed it. Whether or not they thought it was appropriate to do it, I don't know, but they both loved the movie. They were happy they were happy I got the role, and they were glad I did the movie.
Okay, so Sandy, now you are most famous as a victim of a terrible knifing. What do you recall from that day? Give us all the juicy details.
Well, I remember when I first got there, they were fixing up the house because the house was old and dilapidated, and that's the way it needed to be for the first parts of the later parts of the movie. So my scene was actually filmed at the very end because they needed to fix up the house to make it look like people should be living in it and not some decrepit haunted house. So I remember when I got there, they were still fixing it up to make it look nice. And then, of course, I met John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and the other people that were there, Jamie Lee Will, and David Kyle. So I remember meeting everybody, and then they started to walk kind of all of us through it because it was such a complicated shot with the camera starting at the street and all the turns and making sure that there was nothing in the shot that didn't need to be there, things reflected out of mirrors or whatever. So it took a lot of time just walking everybody through the entire scene. And then once we got ready to actually shoot it, we did it in 2 takes. And I remember John Carpenter telling me, okay, when you're downstairs, you just, want to be fun-loving and just do, just have fun. Just have fun with it. You're just flirty, and you're very anxious to go upstairs with your boyfriend. So that was a lot of fun to shoot. And then I remember as I went upstairs, then it became a little creepier because once the boyfriend was gone, it was darker and I could hear them with the cameras and everything coming up the stairs. So that was kind of creepy, knowing I was about to be murdered. Okay, let's not look like we're about to be murdered, but we are. So anyway, it was really interesting to work with both of them. They were both great. They showed me exactly, what they wanted for the staging and how they wanted me to fall and all of those things. So it was very cool. I enjoyed it. And the one memory that I do have is that the blood pellets that was kind of staining my skin. So they were rubbing it really hard to get it off. And so I think I was squirming a bit. And Jamie Lee Curtis said, would you like me to help you with that? And I said, that would be great. So she was kind enough to help with the removal of the blood in a more gentle manner, she said. So those are kind of my memories from it. It was a great experience.
So how many takes did it take you to do them all?
It took 2 takes.
Just 2?
Yeah. I mean, we practiced it a number of times because, like I said, it was a long, complicated shot for everybody. So, yes. But I'm told it was 2 takes.
Well, for your skin quality of being, clean all the time, be thankful Stanley Kubrick didn't direct the movie.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah. So let's go